So Nick, it's great to have you here in Canberra. It's been what, two and a half years?
Yeah, it's nice to see the Australian borders open again. If you would have told me it'd be more than 2 years before I could visit the headquarters, I'd say absolutely no way. But yeah, it's really good to be back. It's good to see some of the old team, and it's really humbling as I come here after being absent for 2 years, and I see all the new faces, and I see the growth, and I see the excitement. In some ways, it's almost unrecognizable from 2 years ago. It's quite exciting.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you back, and let's chat a bit about auto. So Nick, the last year's been pretty busy for Automotive. We've got 9 OEMs, 12 programs. Give us an overview of the mix. What's going on?
Yeah, so it's been quite a journey over the last 5 years for me. When I started, we had GM with the Super Cruise system, which was very, very exciting, of course. We made our way over to some key German automotive suppliers, and looking forward today, we now have the majority of the OEMs in Europe taking us into production. We have all the major OEMs in North America moving forward with us into production, and we've just won our first Japanese production business with a Japanese OEM. So making progress on all fronts is pretty exciting.
It's great news. Time flies. 5 years has gone quickly. So just on production, I mean, as we look at the vehicles that we're in, those production numbers are increasing quarter on quarter. There's a backdrop of media and real concerns around supply shortages, particularly in silicon. What's your take on that, and why are we not seeing a material reduction in the numbers?
Yeah, so I guess first of all, we are very focused on launches now. The design wins are important, but as we know, actually getting into production in a timely manner, as you expect, is also critically important to us, and we're seeing those successes. We've had every program launch with OEMs as we expected, so we've got a 100% track record there. I think we just crossed our roughly 340,000th unit, so 340,000 and some odd units have shipped now in Automotive. That's roughly doubled year on year, and we expect that cumulative number will somewhere between 2 and 3x next year. So we are quite on a steep production ramp now. Silicon shortage is, chip shortage worldwide is of concern to everybody. I think there's two things that have caused that to be somewhat muted for us right now. One being the mix of vehicles we're on. We're on some more premium vehicles to start, and with the OEMs having shortages, they'll do everything they can to produce the most profitable vehicles, which are the premium and high-end vehicles where they can. And we're on the early part of the ramp too, right? And so the volume impact for us hasn't been large. If it persists, it will certainly be a concern for us if we ramp. The good news though is we are seeing signs, at least with some of our key OEM customers now that are launching, of the situation stabilizing and actually starting to improve. So we hope that's a sign of things to come.
Well, that's great news, and I think the vehicles that we won in obviously were the right ones for us. So well done.
Thanks.
So Nick, Japan's getting busy. We've invested there for quite some time. We've got a very strong team on the ground. Just announced our first win. What do you think about the Japanese market, and how do you think we're positioned?
Look, the Japanese market is always challenging. It takes a while. We know it's a market that historically has been pretty closed. This has always been my experience. My previous role before I came to Seeing Machines at Xilinx, we experienced a similar thing there as we grew the automotive business. Similar to that experience, we're in a position, however, where there really isn't domestic technology that can compete with the global leaders in driver monitoring technology, and so I think it just takes time to build trust, and it takes time to build those relationships, and we've certainly been prosecuting that with the help of a really skilled team we've put on the ground in Japan, and obviously achieved a level of confidence with at least our first OEM and tier one combination. We're awarded some production business. In general, though, we expect we're engaged with two other OEMs relative to production business opportunity, and are talking to two others, and so total of 5 pretty intensive OEM engagements, and so I think it's just a matter of time. There's definitely more to come.
Well, look, just on the topic of market and market share, up until sort of late last year, I've certainly been talking about us in the end game, being satisfied with a share around 30%. I was expecting, frankly, significantly more direct competition. It doesn't appear that's occurred, which is great news for us. My view is certainly changing on that, and you're a lot more conservative than me, so I'll be really keen to hear on what you're seeing now in terms of our market share goal.
Yeah, I always play the skeptic, as you know, Paul, within Seeing Machines. I'm conservative by nature. I've been in the automotive market, now for more than 35 years. I've seen how efficiently it works, and how strongly the OEMs demand choice and are willing to invest in that choice if they have to gain that choice. And so we're always cognizant of that dynamic. That said, my views are softening as well relative to the real potential we have. I've always been steadfast in kind of our ability to get a third of the market. However, if you look at the dynamics over the last, let's call it 6 months to a year, particularly the last 3 to 6 months, we seem to be on a trajectory that will certainly allow us to beat that third share objective. Look, based on what we're seeing today, 40% volume share and maybe even 50% revenue share is not unrealistic anymore. Are there scenarios that could be better than that? Yes. But my view is that's really the sweet spot. I think if we could have 50% of the market revenue and sustain that, it probably doesn't get better than that in automotive realistically. And I think that's what we're shooting for now. And I think it's very, very possible.
So I could say your new conservative estimate is 50%?
Yeah, 50% on a revenue basis, I think is realistic. And I say on a revenue basis because we are still getting a premium over our competitors in the market, and they're recognizing the value of our technology, willing to pay up a little bit for it. And so that's why I'm rather specific about whether we're talking on a volume or revenue basis.
Well, look, Nick, I'm really pleased with how auto's unfolded. I know you are, and we've got happy customers, growing business. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your support.
Pleasure.